joined right now by CJ Toledano. CJ, how's it going, man?
Going great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be on.
Very happy to have you. Sorry your wife's not on. I wanted to laugh at the Colts. She's a big Colts
fan. That's for a different...
Titans in your face, Megan. Pass on the news. If you,
there are documentaries being made to rub it in. So I think it's good that she misses this.
There are? I wish I could contribute. I would like...
No, I mean, not about her, but with
I thought you meant specifically for her.
No,
I thought people were specifically making documentaries making fun of Carson Wentz to send to Megan, and I wanted to contribute.
It's not a bad idea. It's a pretty good pitch. And knowing the Colts' history the last few years, maybe that's something we put in pre-production.
All right. Well, on this show, we start with breakfast. I guess I should ask you, have you had a good breakfast recently out there West Coast style?
Yeah. You know what? I've been on one of my I was in the standard hacky New Year's resolution of eating better. So I've been sort of just making healthy, but like legitimately good breakfast. So kind of right now, I'm just doing like 4 turkey sausage links, 2 eggs, and just some, what is it, Dave's Killer Bread, that cool bread that's supposed to be healthy.
I don't know about this cool bread. Has it come to Tennessee? I mean, is this in the flyover states yet?
I don't know. I feel like it probably originated there. And then, the East Coast and West Coast, New York, LA, probably have bastardized it by this point because it does have cool packaging of a dude with a ponytail and like a guitar. And it's
he sounds cool. He's got 2 of the things that make you the coolest, the ponytail and the guitar.
Just classically cool, never out of style. Definitely isn't signs of probably a perverted man who hangs outside of a high school. But so just
I think the shoe choice, actually, CJ, it's the shoe choice that goes with the ponytail and guitar that means everything.
And what do you think? What's the standard?
I don't know. I don't want to offend. I feel like honestly, you got a couple of wrong choices. Like you don't want to mix ponytail guitar with combat boots. Any kind of a high lacing boot, I'm basically out. Then also there's the angle of like the White Sox and Birkenstocks type thing. You don't want to mix up that. I mean, I guess you get a little youth minister vibes, which can go either way, honestly.
Absolutely. But it's been doing the job. I feel better. I mean, I had a terrible diet. So breakfast is a major part of my life right now. So that's why I'm again happy to be on the show.
So one of the great things about breakfast, not that I don't spend a lot of time extolling the virtues of breakfast. One of the great things about breakfast is if you do a healthy resolution, healthy breakfast is usually just also a good breakfast.
Yeah.
Like there's so many options of your typical breakfast where it's like, that's actually healthy. As long as you're not doing the donuts and pastries, you can normally make it quite healthy.
And I don't know how many times in my life I need to be reminded that like donuts and like sugary cereals, while in the moment are the greatest feelings ever, will destroy your days, your weeks, your months. For me, the last couple years, I mean, it was a coping mechanism of the pandemic for me to be eating those things.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's there's other tasty stuff out there that is nourishing for your body.
Right. That initial blast is exhilarating. Then you pay for it afterwards. It's much like trading for Russell Westbrook.
Wow. I didn't know if you came up with that on the spot because it really works.
I mean, it just came.
Really works. And that hurts my feelings.
So Russell Westbrook had kind of a tough go the last few games. The game ops at the Sacramento Kings game, they were torturing him. They were tormenting him.
Sure.
What are your feelings on game ops specifically targeting a player? And I don't want to say humiliating him, but they did this thing on the whole Jumbotron that was like the ice cold player of the game every time Russell Westbrook missed. And Russell Westbrook, he played along, was 2 for 14 from the field in this Lakers loss to the Kings. What are your thoughts on game ops mocking players?
Here's the thing. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a huge Russ fan. I'm not much of a Russ apologist these days, but much deserved. I think it's fair game. I work in basketball creative, and those are the moments where you look like, here's the thing. It was clever. Was it the most clever thing? No. I think it's fun. I think, Russ is actually kind of being pretty self-aware about the whole situation. It was, I mean, if the thing is, if I was doing that to like a Celtics player and I was working for the Lakers, I would be patting myself on the back. And so, I think fair game, but it's just a sad reality. It's a sad reality that yeah, I can't even be like, that's messed up. You guys are,
I can, man,
no.
I can imagine being with the basketball production side of it and being like, this is funny. And
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's a Hall of Famer and no one doubts he's a good player. So that makes this funny. But then when you actually got into the reality of the game, it was going so poorly for Russ that I can imagine myself being like, actually, I now feel bad because he's having such a bad game that like now we've become too mean. It's crossed from playful to mean.
And I never want to, like, the guy gets paid $44 million a year. That's awesome. And so like, I hope he's like, man, they got me. I'm going to go home and count my check, look at my bank account. Like, I think he's going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, honestly, kudos to the Kings. I know they're like, their social media game over the years has been pretty great.
Very good. Yeah.
And for someone who has worked at like the Pistons, and like, those are the moments that kind of like, think about the lives of like, I don't want to shit on Sacramento, but there's not much there. And when I was in Detroit, same thing. And like, our basketball team is like, we're looking for any ounce of fun. And that's the fun. There was the opportunity there and they seized the moment.
Yeah. So Russ is in a 3-game span of shooting 20% from the field. It's almost lined up with this thing where he had this big issue with turnovers. He had 9 turnovers in a game against the Timberwolves, and then everyone like threw a fit. They're like, he's turned the ball over so much. And then the next game, he's like, I'll show you. I'm not going to turn the ball over. And it was the first time he hadn't turned the ball over in years. But now that he's not turning the ball over, he's lost his ability to score. This feels like an either or. This feels like, listen, the food can be fast, it can be cheap, but it can't be both. It's like, hey, I'm going to make shots or I'm going to turn the ball over. Oh, you don't want turnovers? Well, guess what? The ball's going to stop going in. So maybe pick your poison.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the most extreme way, because he's obviously so hyper-focused on this turnovers thing that like, so the ball not going through the net has been the result of that. What else is going to get dramatically affected because Russ is like, hey, look, everyone, 0 turnovers. But it's like, yeah, but you also punched the ref in the face. You you started eating a hoagie at the foul line, and you're like looking, everyone's like, not a turnover.
He has in his last 4 games, he has nearly a 7-to-1 assist to turnover. I'm looking at how many assists is that? I can't even count that high. 27 assists and 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
But of course, he's not making any field goals.
And that's the thing. That's the main criticism of Russell Westbrook, is that the numbers, it's all too like breaking down the numbers of Russell Westbrook is not breaking down the player, accurately. Like, the guy's methodical. He knows how to like generate triple doubles. Like, again, like, he could have been the person who like, he could get a triple double and then also burn the stadium down. And if the Lakers weren't losing, we would have never heard about that stadium being burned down. You know what I mean? So like,
in his last, here's a question. In his last 13 games, how many games has he made a 3-pointer of his last 13?
Of his last 13.
I'm just looking at this game log. I'm sorry. Is this good content? Keith scrolls through Basketball Reference game log.
I want to know, and I'm going to say, I feel like I remembered 1 3-point, but maybe 0. I get confused between him and THT in their 3-point.
Oh, sure. No, it's not that bad. He's actually, he has 3 games, games with a made 3-pointer of his last 13 games. Flipping to the other side.
Yeah.
Sacramento Kings. Everyone's talking like, hey, they're going to trade a bunch of players. They were really down in the dumps before Russell Westbrook came and lifted their spirits. But Shaquille O'Neal announced that he had sold his ownership stake that he had in the Sacramento Kings because of a new business venture. As far as I know, we don't know what this new business venture is. Do you have any ideas? Why did Shaquille have to sell his ownership stake in the Sacramento Kings?
I don't know why he had to. As if another thing on his plate really affects his bandwidth. Like, the Shaq bandwidth, to me was infinite.
Yeah.
Because if he's dropping out of Kings ownership, but still holding on to laser ink printers, all that, this venture better be good. So I don't know what it could be. Is it another team? I don't know. But it could be. He might have invented something that he thinks is going to change the world.
Well, so like my first thought was like, oh, is he getting involved with some kind of like gambling or something? Is there like some like, is he doing like a crypto gambling and NFT Top Shot gambling crossover? But then I was like, the Kings were owned by, I mean, like casino money's been legit. You had the Maloofs for forever. So I don't know if the league cares about crossover into gambling. So yeah, I don't know. Is he buying a soccer club? You can do that though. That's fine.
When you mentioned NFTs, who knows? It could be some weird facet of NFTs, which I haven't really figured out quite yet. But NBA players seem to love it.
So also in the NBA, you have a connection to Detroit. You used to do stuff for them, for the Pistons. The Pistons made news today on Thursday for voiding a trade. They traded Rodney Magruder for Bol Bol. They've negated this trade. They voided it because of couldn't pass a physical. One of the players involved couldn't pass a physical. They're saying it's the Pistons who failed Bol Bol's physical. The Pistons have now been involved in 3 of the last 5 voided trades in the NBA. What's their angle?
Oh man, I can't tell you why this would help anyone out. I don't know the angle. So tell me this: did Bol Bol himself fail the physical?
That's what I've been led to believe. I don't know if it's right. Someone said, and this is totally unsourced hearsay, that Bol Bol was unvaccinated, and they claimed that was a reason. But again, I haven't seen that from any major newsbreaker, so that's just me irresponsibly repeating it. But I don't know. I feel like because Domantas Montiunas, who by the way was nicknamed on our show Donuts, since we talked about donuts already. Donuts Montiunas went to Twitter to complain at Woj that the Pistons have been doing this for years and the Players Association needs to get involved. They just void trades because they feel like it, or they're maybe it's like I thought maybe it's like a negotiating ploy. Like, do they go back to the Nuggets and be like, listen, you have to now give us, hey, we'll do it for $1 million.
Yeah.
Like throw in a bag of cash and then we'll say, you know what, forget it. It doesn't matter. We will now accept the trade. But I don't know.
You know what? And I won't go into details. It's a weird front office. It even affected me as a comedian creator over there, that I could see some like almost these trades or these glorified tryouts. Like they get him or they get some of these players and they go, oh, we messed up. We didn't want this player. Hey, can you throw some applesauce all over the scale or whatever the physical entails? Who knows? I think they regretted it. I think they regretted it.
Just regrets, just buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd like to get Rodney Magruder back.
Yeah.
What if they're just sowing seeds of discontent to other franchises? What if their idea is to try to undermine the operations of other teams?
Yeah. I won't speak too much on it, but I could totally see that. I could see them and just straight up, hey, we're just going to annoy some other exec out there. Hey, let's just like ruin. I heard he's about to go on vacation. Let's throw some paperwork on their desk.
I like it. I like it when the franchises try to hurt each other for legal basketball means. When back in the day, this is a deep cut, when the Portland Trailblazers had gotten insurance money, they'd gotten Darius Miles' salary reimbursed.
Wow.
Because he was unfit to play basketball.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies, you're like, you know what? We're going to sign Darius Miles to a 10-day contract. And it undid their insurance payment, and the Blazers were on the hook for all of his guaranteed money. And there was some talk of like, they just did it to stick it to a rival to be like, no, you have to pay this guy $30 million or whatever. Like that has to go back on your salary cap. I wonder, like, so the Nuggets traded away Bol Bol. They've already given away his jersey number. They gave his jersey number to a hardship signing James Ennis. Bol Bol doesn't even have his jersey number anymore. What would be the process if you were running the Nuggets, CJ? Are you going to James Ennis, asking him to give his jersey back?
Oh, no.
Are you saying, Bol Bol, sorry, you're out?
For me, it's how every decision should be made as a NBA team. They play one-on-one.
Oh, yeah.
Dangling, like what is it, cage match style. You got to, like, in order to climb up the ladder, you got to score a point. And so, yeah, I'd say a ladder match is what it is. A one-on-one ladder match hybrid.
Refresh me on the rules of a ladder match. is height a benefit here? Because I don't, I
know
don't,
what?
because that doesn't seem that fair to James Ennis.
So yes, maybe we have to put James on some sort of platform because yes, I guess Bull the benefits for his height help significantly in a ladder match. So, and yeah, so I think the ladder match is whoever just gets up the ladder and grabs the belt first wins.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
So yeah, Bull probably has like to get on one notch or one step of that ladder, and he wins. But yeah, maybe James should start thinking of other numbers.
So, other league news, we had a trade. So this was like the kickoff trade. The Bull Magruder was the fake kickoff trade. It has now been voided. The Knicks went out and acquired Cam Reddish, and it seems obvious. I think this analysis of the trade is the only correct analysis. They got Cam Reddish because he's RJ Barrett's teammate from Duke, and RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish, his other teammate from Duke, is Zion Williamson. That's the whole shebang, right? That's all we wrote.
I think it is absolutely, we're on track for the Knicks to try to woo Zion Williamson. I mean, listen, like it doesn't take a insider or you see what's going on in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's not great.
Zion doesn't even live there. It's news being reported that he's not even staying in his apartment. He's in Portland right now. He's training at the Nike campus to get in shape, and they're going to line up some sort of scenario where he ends up on the Knicks.
So from the team side, from the Pelicans side, there's a lot of circumstances for NBA teams where they have to control the story, or they try to spin the story, or they give out the press conference that paints everything in the best possible angle, even when they're in unwinnable situations. When it was reported that Zion Williamson was practicing and rehabbing in Portland, I believe David Griffin issued some kind of statement that was like, yeah, we worked that out. We paid for the transportation. This was a thing that we set up in the best interests of our team. What's another analogy? Can you think of like a real world analogy for that? Is that like when if you like your partner leaves you or something?
Yeah, it's like when you're like,
oh, no, we worked it out. I paid for her to go to this sabbatical where she's going to live not in the same state as me for 6 months. That was part of our plan.
It's like when like a buddy will go, hey, yeah, me and her are going to take a break. And I think that's good for us. Yeah. And actually like, I actually even found the Airbnb where she's going to stay. And I just think it's good for us to get some alone time. And it's like, start packing your shit, look for a new apartment. She's not coming back. So yeah, that's the closest. I mean, and there's nothing else Griffin could be doing. Yeah, you got to just roll. You got to give him what he wants.
Yeah.
Because maybe there's a Hail Mary change of the mind, but you can't start now being like, nope, you can't go there. Because yeah, you just got to start giving the guy what he wants. But he's going to be a Knicks soon.
I love your analogy. That was perfect. It's good. It's good for us. No, we thought it would be fun if we both shopped for our own perfect dream apartment separately. We thought that would be a good, healthy exercise. And it's what the plan was. It's what, it's dark days. Cause like, it seems like the Pelicans got the worst possible deal here. Like, I don't know if they're culpable or they did something wrong. It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like Zion hasn't been happy, hasn't been healthy. When he was healthy, he was incredible. And now they're like, I don't know what you're supposed to do there.
And the thing is, it might end up in their favor. Who knows how long, and if like Zion and who knows how much weight Zion has really put on. Who knows what he's going to be like after this injury. And this is why a lot of front office personnel really does matter. Like, are you able to scout well enough? Are you able to recruit enough? How long do you hold on to Zion and keep giving him, resources and whatnot? But like, this could actually end up like being like ripping the Band-Aid off. Like Zion was going to leave from the second he got drafted there. And it's time to focus on a new plan. And I think we'll see how that pans out, but I think they'll be fine.
I mean, it's just such a weird
team, not be a team.
Right. Or just not be a team. It's such a weird situation. Like, is Zion eventually going to publicly say like, yeah, I'm not signing an extension. I'm not signing any extension whatsoever. Cause Because like if he signs an extension and then does what Ben Simmons is doing, then like the league is going to stop because the owners are going to freak out. Like there's going to be weird stuff in the CBA. There's a lot of people like chattering that Ben Simmons has basically ruined a lot of this for a lot of other NBA players because the owners are now going to change something in the next CBA and try to get this right. Ben Simmons, it's been reported, they had a meeting with Daryl Morey. Clutch and Daryl Morey got together, and Clutch Rich Paul reemphasized, hey, listen, yeah, we're not playing for your team. We're going to keep not getting paid, and ball's in your court, I guess, to see like if you want to change that.
I think it just, for me to get fined those millions and millions of dollars would ruin my life significantly. But maybe we're underestimating how much money these agencies and these players have. Because to me, that would be that's the rule. That's the rule that fixes this thing. Hey, if you don't,
it's supposed to be money. Yeah.
If you don't show up to the team, you get fined all this money. And then it would be me running into the facility. I'm here, I'm playing, and we'll figure it out in the off season. So I don't know what's the change in the CBA that could really fix this. This is the ultimate standoff that has gone on. It's been gone on enough to where I forget Ben Simmons exists. And if he's even good anymore.
Right. So he's turning down like his salary this year, pre-tax, $33 million. And he's like, I'm good. Like, I don't need that. I think the change in the CBA that could happen, that I've heard floated a couple times, maybe like by Zach Lowe or whoever else, was like, if you sign one of these rookie extensions, and you sign one of these, like basically, whatever the Supermax extensions. Yeah. If you then request a trade, like you're getting bumped down to whatever another team could have offered you. You're no longer getting 8% raises. You're down to 5% raises. So like, all right, if you request a trade, you're losing a big chunk of your salary. But even Ben Simmons just not playing, just being like, yeah, just not going to take money. I mean, like the scope of the money is incomprehensible, for probably everyone listening. But like the idea of turning down just a job because I don't want to do the thing. Yep. Extremely relatable. I spent probably most of my 20s, like being very, very poor, but being totally ignorant of like why I needed money and just being gleefully poor. And then I would go get a job and I'm like, man, I actually need some money. And then I would go do the job and I'd be like, man, this sucks. I'm done. Have you like, what's a job that springs to mind for you in your life that you've ever had? You've been like, you know what? I had this job. I would rather not work.
I absolutely relate to this. Same thing in my 20s. I worked at a Barnes and Noble in the music and DVD section because I got the job because I was working at a Blockbuster.
That sounds really fun when you say it to me right now, actually.
It's the most fun, I get to be around DVDs and music and CDs. Yeah. But we have to remember Barnes & Noble is primarily a bookstore. And so when I was working there, the last Harry Potter book was coming out, obviously huge fanfare, midnight release. And we had a whole store meeting the morning of the release. And everyone had to go around and say what they were, what character they were dressing as. Now, I wasn't an avid reader, definitely not Harry Potter. And so I had to think of something on the fly. And so everyone went around and got to me. I was maybe the 20th employee who had to say who they were going to be. And I said, Harry, because one, I wore glasses and they were like, sorry, you can't be Harry. There's already too many Harrys. And I was like, what? And then I just never showed up again. I didn't bother even like Googling what another character would be fun to dress up as. I just never showed up again. And then I went back to Blockbuster and started working there again. So,
oh man, Blockbusters were the best. I'm thinking of a job I had where it blew my money, how much money they offered. It was basically being a Teamster. Mm-hmm. It was like, hey, this is event services. We're going to unload a semi and we're going to set up a stage and chairs. And like, you're literally going to unload a semi. It was one of my friend's landlords. My friend was like, hey, if you ever need a job, just call this guy. They always need people. And I don't know if it was like obviously non-union gig. It was just laborer thing. Go do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Cause they were like, I don't remember, it paid something like $24 an hour. And I was like, oh my God, like that is so much money. And the job was to go to the Opryland Hotel, which is this massive resort in Nashville. So go to the Opryland Hotel at 3:30 in the morning, and you're going to work for 7 hours, have 5 hours off, and then you're going to unload as long as it takes. And you get paid like this plus time and a half. And I was like, I'm going to be so rich. I'm going to do this for a week, and I'm going to have so much money. I'm not going to know what to do with it. And I did it the one day, like worked from like 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., went to like the break room and sat for 3 hours, and then worked from like noon until 8 p.m., made like $200, $300, and was like, I'm good. I can live forever on 300 bucks. I'm definitely never doing this again. Like, this was way too much work. I'm a frail, skinny dude. I was like 6'4", 160. And I was like, you know what? Not my thing. I remember going to pick up the check from the dude who was like assigning these jobs. And he just like looked at me and he was like, not your genre of work.
That's great. I've definitely had that stuff. Yeah. I mean, but nothing raises more ethical red flags than landlord. And,
I didn't know any better.
You just work at these hours, 24. Yeah. I think
that's right. Yeah. I'm a landlord here. Go unload this semi at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Nothing weird about that.
When the literal location of your job is the docks, yeah, there's something going on.
Yeah. Well, CJ, I appreciate you coming on, talking basketball with me. Well, you always have a ton of stuff going on. What's something you need to let our listeners know about?
Yeah, follow through LA on Twitter. We have projects happening, some stuff we're really excited about with some players that I think everyone loves, and Timberwolves star player. Hopefully something that's coming to fruition in the next few months. But yeah, just follow through in my Twitter.
Pat Beverly clothing line.
yeah, Pat Beverly boxing
Say
gloves.
No more.
Invest now.
That sounds perfect. That's actually why Shaq had to sell his ownership stake.
Yeah.
Anyway, CJ, appreciate your time. Look forward to the next time.
Thanks so much, Keith.